Live on tape from the multiverse, it's Tap Tap Concede. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tap Tap Concede, a stripped down version, I would say. It's just myself, and joining me
Cameron.
is Cameron.
Hi.
Everybody, Alex is sick, other people are out of the country. Beej doesn't know a damn thing about magic, so what's the point in having him on this show?
Exactly.
So
I'm still here.
that's true. Paul is still here.
Good old loyal Paul.
Running the board. Paul, I would argue Paul has been present and on more Tap Tap Concedes than anybody else.
Yeah.
I would think, because he's always running the board. So, you're right. I'm sorry. I feel bad
Paul
now.
is our rock.
Paul is the rock of Tap Tap Concede. Speaking of other rocks of Tap Tap Concede, let's talk about our sponsors for a minute. This podcast is, of course, sponsored by cardkingdom.com/LRR. Technically, it's just cardkingdom.com, but enter in that /LRR so the affiliate code gets applied, so people know, so they know when you buy something that we are the ones that sent you there. We're really happy to have them on board as our sponsor. It's pretty new. I think this is like the 4th week that the show has been sponsored by Card Kingdom. I think it's going really well, which is great. Make sure you go check them out. It's a fantastic place to go buy all of your magic necessities. I know I do. I normally actually end up picking up all my cards for my Pauper Cube that I keep, which I generally try to keep up to date because the creator of it updates it with every new set, and I am also trying to foil out the Pauper Cube, so it's just a really easy place to go and buy all of my foil Pauper needs. Fast shipping, great prices, fantastic customer service. If you're in the Seattle area, in the Ballard/Bellevue area, go check out their brick and mortar shops, Card Kingdom and Cafe Mox. They're really cool. Good food, great atmosphere to play Magic. Love them so much. cardkingdom.com/LRR. And of course, this podcast is brought to you by you guys over at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun, as well as all of the other stuff that we do here on the YouTube channel, on the Twitch channel, on whatever other channels that we might be on that I'm forgetting about right now. We couldn't do it without you. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to go check it out, patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Okay, so the show today, as you can see if you're watching, we have a box of Kaladesh in front of us. Now, we've cracked boxes of Magic cards on the show before. We're always kind of experimenting with sort of new formats for Tap Tap Concede. It's not something that we want to do often, but you know, we like changing it up. We like having fun. We like cracking boxes for basically no value.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes Marshall cry. I assume when we open these packs, a single tear will roll down his cheek.
Yep.
So today, Cam and I are going to split this box. We're going to open one pack at a time, and we're going to basically judge which pack is the better pack.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the cards in the packs, and we'll probably, this is a good jumping off point to just sort of talk about cards in Kaladesh in a limited sense. I've been playing a lot of limited Kaladesh.
Yep,
I know Cam.
I've drafted a lot.
You've drafted a lot, both in paper and on Mikko, especially these last 2 weeks with you on Learn TG. So I would say let's just get into this.
Yeah.
Let's crack open this box.
I'm ready to go mono Renegade Freighter here.
Is that a thing? Wow, this knife didn't cut through that plastic. Okay, there we go. That's better.
Box cutters, not great blades usually.
I mean, they can be if they're, you know, fresh.
Yeah.
You got to make sure they're fresh, though.
Yeah.
So let's just put this down right here because it looks pretty, and grab a whack.
Okay.
So, how has drafting Kaladesh for you been going?
Good, because blue's usually open.
Yeah, blue has been pretty looked down upon, I guess,
exactly.
is the thing you would say. Okay, so I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say I've already won with this pack.
You have an invention.
I do not. Okay, so I do not have an invention. I do, however, have something that I guarantee you will beat whatever card you pull out of your pack. So you go ahead first. I promise you it's not an invention. I'm not slow rolling you. I'm not you. So you got to figure out a good card.
Oh man, I got Alex Good.
You did get Alex Good. That was a lot of fun. If it wasn't for this card, I'm just going to throw these down here because let's not mess up our table.
Okay, so like really good limited cards on occasion. I mean, like, well, okay, my rare is Depala, Pilot Exemplar,
Okay.
who I think people enjoy. I've never actually been able to play with her in limited, but she seems like she should be good.
I mean, she's.
The Boros deck in the limited environment just can crush you.
I mean, so
right?
this is 1 red white for a legendary creature dwarf pilot. Other dwarves you control get +1/+1, so she's a lord.
Yeah.
Each vehicle you control gets +1/+1 as long as it's a creature. And whenever it becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand, then put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah.
This card seems very, very good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as my foil Chandra, though.
Oh!
It's maybe close, but
Hi.
it's not quite as good as my pack foil Chandra. Which,
Oh my god.
right? That feels good. That feels really
Yeah,
good.
no, this is a good start.
I don't
Oh.
even. It also came with. This is one of those rare double mythic packs, BT dubs.
This is a thing in standard, isn't it?
I'm not entirely sure, but it also comes with a metallurgic summonings, which is kind of crazy. That card's weird. 3 blue enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is that spell's converted mana cost, and for 3 blue, you can exile this enchantment, and you return all instants and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if you control 6 or more artifacts. It seems kind of cool, but it does not beat out my foil Chandra, Torch of Defiance.
You're not the only one who got a foil.
Oh,
Because
damn.
I got a foil Consulate Skygate,
Oh, damn.
which blocks Looter Scooter all
Yeah.
day. Just
Yeah, that's
totally
true.
shuts it down.
It's true.
And
And
regular-
another
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Wow. Actually, so
okay.
your pack might be better than my pack. But I would say put your foil, let's put your foils and your rares to the side.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at the packs afterwards. I guess if it wasn't for that card, in terms of limited, I do like the Whisperweave.
Yeah, the Whisperweaver Angel is
quite good. 4
quite
white,
good.
4/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile another target creature you control, then return it. So you just blink something.
Yeah.
So that seems really good.
I mean, I've got some interesting cards here, like probably the impeccable timing.
1 and a white
Yeah.
deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature.
Yep.
Really good in this format.
Attune with
found.
Aether is even
Yep.
quite playable. And then
Especially if you're Rip Tiger.
Rip Tiger.
Rip Tiger it's possibly one of my favorite commons in the set.
Yeah.
3 green for a 4/4 trample. When it enters, you get 2 energy, and when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy to give it +2/+2 until the end of turn. It's so good. That's just a 6/6 trample attacking on turn 5 is very, very good. Paul,
Yeah.
what you got?
Well, I was just thinking, is that Boros,
The dwarf?
the Dwarf Lord, is that actually played in the Boros vehicle deck?
I don't know.
Like in Standard?
I
in
don't
standard,
know.
I don't know if it's played in standard. I
Like
mean,
there is a vehicle deck in Standard.
there
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure if it's standard. It's not my jam. I feel bad though, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. All right, let's keep going.
Yep.
I would say 1 point, James.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So really quick look here. All right, I have the card that I'm going to pick to fight you with, but it's nowhere near as cool as Chandra. I guess as the winning pack, I will go first. It's
Yep.
like golf. I opened a Metalwork Colossus. I
Okay.
haven't had a chance to play this card yet. I'm not super excited by it. I've never been excited by big dorky creatures that just kind of sit there and can get chump blocked all day.
Yeah.
Like a 10/10 sounds cool, but it can just be chumped by the servo.
Yeah.
The servo that is seen basically in every color.
Yeah.
Like Fabricate is everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not great, but it is the card that I will choose to fight you with. What do you got?
Fleet Wheel Cruiser.
Yeah, see, that's just a much better card.
Kills Jason Vintage.
Yeah, so 4 colorless for artifact vehicle. It's a 5/3. It has trample. It has haste, and when it enters a battlefield, it can attack as if it's a creature.
Yep.
So it's a 5/3 trample haste on turn 4, which is really good, and it costs 2 to crew.
Yeah.
That's a really good card.
Yeah, it's
that's
actually outstanding.
that's a very first
This is
pickable
actually
card.
quite a decent limited pack.
That being said, I could fragmentize it.
You
which
could.
I have had. I've definitely been running in most white decks. I've been running fragmentize.
Yeah, well,
It just seems like it's almost always going to kill something.
Yeah,
your opponent plays. It's not the greatest, most reliable removal spell, but it's really good. And if it's not in your main deck, it's like your number one sideboard card, I would say.
Absolutely. It kills Renegade Freighter. It kills the 2/3 flying vehicle.
Yeah.
However, it also kills this guy,
Yeah, the Snare Thopter.
which is almost, well, not easily first pickable, but you don't feel bad if you first pick a 3/2 haste flyer.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
any color.
And we're going to see a lot of these today. I just actually want to take a second to talk about this card, the Kajur Seed Sculptor.
Yeah.
It's 1 and a green for a 1/2 elf druid. When it enters a battlefield, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So, at the worst, this is a 2/3 for 2.
Yeah.
Which is just straight better than a bear.
Yep.
And just does so much work even late in the game. Like, if this was like even just a bear, right? Like, even if it's just what was a 1 or a 2/2 for 2 that did nothing, you draw this late in the game and you feel horrible. But when you draw this late in the game and you can give +1/+1 to something probably a lot better than what you are probably going to, rather than just giving itself +1/+1, it feels really good.
Well, yeah, because there were these, the Soulbond guys from Avacyn Restored that when they entered the battlefield would give +1/+1 to
Yep.
something, and then there was the elf guy from Origins who did something similar, and those guys were quite good,
Yep.
but it was only for the turn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a counter,
This sticks
so
around,
I like
and,
this.
and in green, there's so much trample in green. Like we've already seen the tiger,
Yeah.
and there's no shortage of other green creatures in there that have
Well, par exemple,
the rhino,
Thriving Rhino.
right?
Yeah.
The rhino is another really great green common in the set. Like like I've seen people first pick rhino.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an exciting first pick, but it's absolutely something that you will do.
Yeah, like Rhino, Tiger, and then the 2 fight cards.
Yeah. So
in
Hunt the
green.
Weak.
And
It's the uncommon. I can't remember.
yeah.
Something
I wanna say,
with
like,
something with nature or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I'm sure we'll find it.
Yeah,
so.
and then I've also got like a Dayung in this pack.
Dayung is fantastic. Black removal.
A Subtle Strike, which I've gotten blown out by, but have never made work for me. And Chandra's Pyrohelix, which can
That's
get
actually
a shocking number of
That was
things in
actually a
this
really good
environment.
pack in
Yeah.
terms of just like really great limited like staples
Yeah.
that I've seen so far.
Also,
playing
I got
through this.
Contraband Kingpin, which I've wanted to make work. I really wish there was a good control deck in this format.
Yeah.
Well, in this limited environment.
All right.
Because that seems like the kind of
I think
all-star.
it's time to move on.
Yeah,
So we're going to give you that pack.
Okay,
So we're
okay.
now 1-1.
very generous. Thank you.
You can't beat, I'm just going to throw this out here now. You can't beat my Foil Forest.
Ooh.
Step off.
I
Step
cannot.
off. But really, I am seeing not a whole lot here.
Yeah,
I mean, this is-
like there are some good cards in this pack, but if you like when you're opening Key to the City,
Yeah, so Key to the City is 2 mana artifact, discard a card, tap it to discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. And whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. It's a good card.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people play it, and I think it's really good and limited, but it's not an exciting card.
yeah,
So my rare, which I haven't actually had a chance to play yet, I haven't even seen it played against me, is Eliminate the Competition, which is 4 and a black for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice X creatures. So I feel like this is best at home in the sort of black-white the
Fabricate deck.
Thank you, Fabricate deck, where you're able to make a lot of dorky little 1/1 servos that you have no problem just throwing away, because where X is the number of the creatures you sacrifice, that is the number of creatures that you're able to destroy.
Yeah.
It seems really good, but again, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so
I've seen this compared to Bone Splinters when it was first spoiled, and it's so much better than Bone Splinters
yeah, significantly better than Bone Splinters.
because you're not just trading 2 cards for 1. You're trading, you're trading X plus 1 cards for X cards.
Yeah, exactly.
But not always.
I mean, especially
I don't know where
when,
I'm going with this.
I
The
mean,
point is these effects are better when they scale.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're casting this and sacrificing 2 1/1 servos to kill even 2/2/2 who the hell cares?
Yeah.
It's still fine.
Yeah.
Like you're still super okay with
Like
doing
if you're getting a
that, so.
Malphus squad with this for a servo, I think that's probably okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I'm probably first picking the revoke privileges.
Yep. Enchant creature can't attack, block, or crew vehicles for 2 and a white.
Or if I was responsible,
And
the Thriving
there's
Rhino.
the Thriving Rhino.
Yeah.
I guess so I had a revoke privileges in here as well. I had a Rush of Vitality, which is not bad. Elegant Edgecrafters is an interesting card. 4 green for an Elf Artificer, 3/4. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, which is super relevant.
Yep.
And it has Fabricate 2. I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily am excited to first pick it, but if this comes around and I'm playing green, I am definitely playing this card. So, all right. I'm going to just say I win that one. Key to the City is a good card, but my card just kills all the creatures that you're going to play
Yeah, exactly.
in your Key to the City deck.
Yep.
Moving on. All right, real quickly, I know what card I'm picking. I haven't even looked at the rest yet. There's some good cards in here that I am definitely excited to play.
I think I've actually got an excellent card, though.
Okay, so I won that last one, so I will go first, and I put down my Torrential Gearhulk.
Ooh!
This has been a pretty decent box, by the way,
Yeah.
even just without it. I haven't actually had a chance to play this very much yet in draft or sealed, but I've definitely watched a decent amount of Kenji and Luis and Gabby over the last couple weeks, and I've seen all 3 of them play this at some point, and it always seems like it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, even if all you're doing is flashing back the 1 blue return target tap creature to its owner's hand and scry 1, like, you're generally going to flash this out, block something, kill it, tempo your opponent out by bouncing their scariest guy back into their hand, and then just feeling really good about everything.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think it's an excellent card.
yeah. What do you got?
Bristling Hydra.
That card is really good too. 2 green for a Hydra. It's a 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy, and you can pay 3 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on it forever. That doesn't ever go away. But it also gains hexproof until end of turn. So this comes down and can immediately protect itself.
Yep.
So it's really hard to get rid of this thing, at least the turn it comes down. And if you're in the proper deck and you're able to generate a lot of energy, you're never killing this stupid card. And oh my god, I've been killed by this card a few times.
Yep. Yeah, it just gets out of hand really quickly, and you have to. The only way to reliably kill. Wow, that was gross. Excuse me. The only way to reliably kill it is in combat, and that is not going to happen for very long.
No. I don't know, actually, who wins this one between
I think it's probably the Gearhulk.
It's probably just, I think the Gearhulk has a bigger impact on the board, or it certainly can have a bigger impact on the board, especially if you consider, like, if you've put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on this thing, and maybe it's like, I don't know, it's a 7/6 at this point, but you have no more energy and you feel safe attacking into me even though I have 6 mana open. You're like, what are the chances he has the Gearhulk? And I play it, and I somehow do that play where I bounce your guy and I block your Elise guy, and it's just like it resets this thing.
Yeah, and it's savage.
It feels pretty good. So.
I just want to talk about one of my favorite limited decks in this format, which is based around Salivating Gremlins.
Okay, that's the 2 and a red Gremlin 2/3 that gets +2/+0 and trample when an artifact enters the battlefield.
Yeah. Also, you want to pick up these guys,
The
Reckless Fireweavers.
Yeah.
For 1 in a red, you get a 1/3 Human Artificer. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Reckless Fireweaver deals 1 damage to each opponent. And then from a previous pack, you play these things. Cogworkers Puzzle Knots.
Right, so you play the Puzzle Knot, it triggers both these things.
Yep.
The Puzzle Knot creates a 1/1 colorless servo artifact, it triggers again. And then theoretically, if you have the mana, you can sacrifice it.
So here's
and do
your curve.
3 more, right?
Fireweaver,
Yeah.
Gremlins, Puzzle Knot, crack Puzzle Knot.
And trigger these three triggers
times.
on those things. Yeah.
And just like get them.
Yeah,
You just get them.
Because I mean, this is now it's an 8/3 with trample. You've dealt 3 damage to your opponent without even doing anything.
Yeah,
you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, no, I love that kind of deck. It's just very explosive. It reminds me a lot of the Is It Blitz deck
Yeah.
from several years ago. But I also got like a Disappearing Act and an Ether Trade Winds in this pack, which I like those cards because they both go into my other favorite deck in this format, which is the Minister of Inquiries deck,
Yep.
where you play Ether Trade Winds, Disappearing Act, Minister of Inquiries, and the blue and the green Puzzle Knots.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
And you just you bounce the Puzzle Knots.
And you just mill them out.
Yep.
You just mill them out.
Would you consider the Torrential Gear Hulk to be the best of the Gear Hulks?
In Standard, I think it's definitely come down on the Torrential Gear Hulk. I think the black one is probably the best limited one.
I think the black one, the green one is devastating, or it can be really, really good. It's the thing is that I don't think I'm unhappy to play any of the Gear Hulks.
Well, I mean,
limited, especially in limited, right?
They're certainly the new Titans, right? Mm-hmm. In the sense that even a bad Gear Hulk is still pretty damn
really good. Yeah. This is another card that I had in my pack, which is Hazardous Conditions, which I kind of want to talk about. Creatures with no counters on them get -2/-2 until end of turn for 2 black-green. It's a sorcery. I still don't think I like this card very much, but I've seen people get completely blown out by it.
Yeah.
So I respect it, but I've never managed to get it to work in any sort of meaningful way for myself.
Yeah, I know. Well, like in black and green, you've got a lot of things like, the thriving rhinos and thriving rats and fabricate things. And if you're up against the correct deck, like you're up against the Cloudblazer deck, which is just playing like little dorks in the sky.
Yep.
This ruin
feels
their day.
real good, yeah. I think it has a very specific matchup, and this isn't a card that I would run in my main board, is where I've sort of fallen on it, but I have seen people do the exact opposite of that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I could just be very bad at
this is the correct, this is also a lot like Zealous Persecution.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Where you're kind of getting the same effect, where it's shifting balance and power by 2. But you have to absolutely be in the correct deck for it.
Yep, that's fair.
I feel like with that one, if your opponent is playing green and black, and whenever they play Fabricate cards, they're doing the +1 counters instead of the servo, be very suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't actually. I feel like it's the Gear Hulk.
I agree.
I think it is the Gear Hulk.
I agree.
But I think it's actually probably the closest it's been yet.
Yes.
So far. All right. Let's do this. Okay. I think you're in a good spot because I'm first picking and I'm fighting you with a gold card.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead first.
Yeah.
And I will play down my Voltaic Brawler.
That's quite powerful.
It's a very good card. It's not a card that I'm obviously looking to first pick because it really shoehorns you into that green-red deck. That being said, the green-red sort of like getcha brawly aggro deck is probably one of my favorites. And this is an obscene card. Red-green for a 3/2 human warrior. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And whenever it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. And if you do, it gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. So this can attack as a 4/3 with trample on turn 3, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
What do you got to fight against my brawler?
Cultivator of Blades.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so 3 green, you get an Elf Artificer who is a 1/1 with Fabricate 2.
Yep.
It has another line of text, which is whenever Cultivator of Blades attacks, you may have other attacking creatures get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Cultivator of Blades power, which is really quite powerful because it makes all your guys like maybe +3/+3.
Yeah. So,
I have also.
There's your combo. There's your combo piece, which I have done quite a few times.
Can I just say
Cultivator into larger than life? I've done Cultivator into 2 larger than lives.
In response to the larger than life? Ether Meltdown.
Oh yeah. That's something.
And then you wipe their board.
Yeah.
If you're in magical Christmas land.
That's fair. That is really good.
Let me tell you.
I guess let me fight you with the rare out of my pack, which was the Ether Flux Reservoir, which you all know and love. 4 colorless. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life. Ether Flux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. LSV has made this work.
Yeah.
He's done it.
It's the Dome.
It's a thing that can happen in a game of Magic the Gathering Unlimited. I don't think I would first pick it, though.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to win whatever fight we're doing here with it. But
Yeah.
that was my rare, so I'll put that in my rare pile.
Yeah, otherwise, like, a totally decent pack with, like, Hunt the Weak, Wild Wanderer,
Yep.
Filigree Familiar, another Salivating Gremlins, which I like, and then even just totally playable cards like Herald of the Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
So,
I'm 100% giving that one to you.
thank you very much.
I want this pack.
Oh, the Chandra pack.
This is the invention pack. I can feel
You
it.
can feel it. It's just got that little bit of extra heft.
All right.
Cool.
So this is a incredibly average pack with a rare that I'll just throw down right now because it's not going to win us anything, but it's a Blooming Marsh, so sure. I got a dual land. I feel pretty good about that.
Yep.
I think I have my Fight You card.
I have mine.
Okay, well, go ahead. You won.
Verduous Gearhulk.
Okay, well, you win.
Yep.
3 green, construct, trample, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. So you can put this all on him
Yep.
and make it an 8/8 trample, or you could
can.
spread out the 4 counters to 4 different creatures.
Pseudo haste effects, very, very good.
So my card does theoretically beat your card,
Oh-ho.
but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a foil Sky Whaler
okay,
shot.
yeah.
With a little bit of a printing error at the top there. It's got some smudges on it for some reason. But, and we've talked about this earlier, super impressive, effective piece of removal. That being said, it does not even come close to beating your...
Well, I mean, like, its text should just read kill something relevant.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Also, get a little tempo boost.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think if
No,
it wasn't for the
that's
Gearhulk, I'm taking the
stupid-ass card.
Renegade Freighter or these Welding Sparks.
Okay. That feels good. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about this card, which is interesting. It's an uncommon. We don't see it too often. It is the Ether Torch Renegade. 2 and a red for a human rogue. It's a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy. You can tap it and pay 2 energy to deal 1 damage to target creature, or you can tap it and pay 8 energy to deal 6 damage to target player.
Yeah, sign me up. This reminds me a lot of, what was the guy from Battle for Zendikar where you paid like 8 mana and it domed your opponent for a bunch?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what it
Graham
was called.
dressed as the card art for Friday nights.
Yeah, I remember the card. It is in red. I don't remember what it was called.
It was,
but
it was this guy from in Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah, like
right?
this feels like, I mean, this definitely feels at home in the blue-red spells deck where you're generating a decent amount of mana, and this just gives you that little extra bit of reach. Like, if you can just dome your opponent for 6, you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I'm happy seeing these guys get printed instead of things like Lava Axe.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I would definitely rather this over Lava Axe any day. All right. Well, you got that one pretty handedly. So let's move on. I'm feeling like I started off strong.
Well, the foil Chandra is pretty compelling.
The foil Chandra is very compelling, but it's not as good. It's not going to get me there, I don't think. And this is another really beyond average pack.
Yeah, I'm also not feeling terribly strong about this pack.
So again, for the second pack in a row, I'm not going to play it out as my card that's going to beat you because it's just an Inventor's Fair. I haven't even really played Inventor's Fair. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. Tap it to add a colorless mana to your mana pool. 4, tap, sacrifice it. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. I mean, it's a land that does stuff with a bunch of artifacts. Never really that excited. What is your card you're fighting?
My rare is the Eliminate the Competition, which, I mean, like we talked about this earlier, I'm not super excited by it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's probably not what I'm first picking out of this pack,
well,
to be perfectly fair.
I think I'm fighting you with, I think the card that I feel like I'm fighting you with is, it's probably just this Renegade Freighter.
Funny you should mention that. Renegade Freighter.
Renegade Freighter.
Although
And then
I think what I should be picking instead of the Renegade Freighter is the Longfin Sky Whale.
I like this card a lot.
Me too.
2 blue for a flying 4/3 whale. It can only block creatures with flying, which is not great. But you don't care because you're getting in for 4.
Yeah. Like you're not in the deck that's playing this. You're not blocking with this guy.
Yeah.
You're blocking with whatever your giant ass ground guys.
Yeah.
Right.
That being said, I will kill it with my welding sparks. So,
Not if I kill it with my own welding sparks first.
okay, so what you're saying is we had almost the same pack.
Yeah, but
Okay.
since I am in the Longfin Sky Whale, I counter your Disappearing Act. Or
Okay.
I counter your Welding Sparks with a Disappearing Act.
All right, that's
and
fair.
then I play out this Ballista Charger.
Oh, you got some good cards in that pack.
Yeah.
By the way, the Valakut Invoker.
Thank you.
That's the one,
That
yeah.
is the one. This card that we talked about earlier is better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for this 8 mana, you just deal. This is creature or player.
Yep.
But 8 mana Lightning Bolt
Is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. All right, so that I think goes to you again.
Yeah.
Because at least you had a fun rare. But I don't know. All right. Got some cards here. Nothing is really. Wow, this is a vehicle.pack right here. I have 3 vehicles in this
Yeah.
deck.
Okay, I'm going to talk a bit about what I got here. So my rare is Concealed Courtyard. Hey, a dual
okay.
land.
It's a
It's
dual
quite
land.
good.
Yep.
You know, you're in these colors. You want these cards.
Yep.
But I think the card that I'm actually picking first, which is wrong, but I love this card.
Okay.
Restoration Gearsmith.
Oh yeah, this card seems really sweet.
It's a 3/3 human artificer for 2 white/black. When it enters the battlefield, return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I've used this in sealed pools to recur, like the Black Gear Hulk, to recur Wisp Weaver Angel, to recur Aviary Mechanic,
All right.
which feels so good. Let me tell you, when you can demonstrate a loop with something with like a powerful ETB effect.
So the card I'm fighting you with is the Cultivator's Caravan, which is not a
Yeah.
card you see very often. It's a rare. I don't actually. I like this card. I haven't played with this card. It's a 5/5 for 3. It's a vehicle. It's a mana dork though, sort
Yeah.
of, in the sense that
Well-
it taps for 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and it accrues for 3. This seems like a very good card.
It actually really is.
Yeah.
It's a mana rock that can kill your opponent in late game.
Yeah, which seems quite good. And then
Like
along the line, as well as this, I have another 5/5 vehicle, which is the Bomat Bazaar Barge, which when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. It casts for 4, it accrues for 3, and just in case we weren't completely done with vehicles here, I also have the Aradara Express for 5. It's an 8/6 with Menace, it accrues for 4. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of vehicles for a pack.
Like the other quite good card I got in this was Nature's Way.
That's the other fight card.
Target creature you control gains vigilance and trample until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control.
That's not even a fight card.
No, yeah.
That's just a straight up kill you card.
Yeah.
That is such a good card.
Yeah, it's exactly what the green deck in this format wants to be doing.
All
like
right.
if you can do the decks that always kill me in sealed are the decks that can go land, threat, removal 2 or 3 turns in a row.
Yep.
Right? Like, and these cheap green fight cards make that very possible.
All right, so I'm calling the win on that one.
I
I
agree
feel like.
with you.
Okay. So moving on to this next pack, another. I mean, there's a lot of okay cards here, but I guess I'm going to fight you with the Syndicate Trafficker.
Oh yeah,
Which is the 1 black 3/1 Aetherborn Rogue. For 1, you can sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Again, I think we've said this with a couple cards. It fits so well at home in that the black-white Fabricate deck.
Yep.
Where you're just sacrificing little 1/1 servos to make this thing bigger and bigger and impossible to kill.
Yeah.
So I like this card a lot.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite archetypes in Standard is, or in Constructed is the Aristocrats, and that makes that possible. My rare was Paradoxical Outcome, which
Sure.
yeah,
It's a thing that it's a thing that happens.
Yeah, sure is. Not exciting. So I think the card that I'm actually bringing to this battle is Skyskiff.
So okay, let's talk about vehicles for a second.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I actually like vehicles as a mechanic, as an addition to the game. They feel like they're so skill testing.
Yeah.
That it feels like, okay, so if I play the Skyskiff on 2, then I can play a creature on 3 and crew it. Mm-hmm. But if I draw this on 3 and play this, then I feel kind of bad. Mm-hmm. And if I draw this late in the game, I have to, and if I'm not, like, I feel like these fit in very specific decks, and I never play those decks.
Well, like, crew 1 is a very, very good, that's a good crew value because it means a servo can pilot it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Once you start getting up into higher crew values, I need to see a tremendous payoff.
Yeah.
Like the...
I mean, the caravan's interesting, right? Because you're sacrificing 3 power for 5.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the way that I think you need to look at it is how much power are you sacrificing? Generally, you're sacrificing less power to get more.
Yeah.
Right? That's how they generally work. But you're also, maybe sometimes you're tapping down 2 creatures to be able to crew something that costs 3 to crew.
Like the
right?
ratio seems to be about 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Right? Generally. Like this thing from an earlier pack, I dislike it intensely. Demolition Stomper.
Right.
I am sadder to see this in an uncommon slot than I am to see like some weird janky rare in my rare slot.
That's fair.
I don't like this card at all.
Yeah.
It's just too much power for relatively like. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's like one of those 7 mana giant dorks.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're like, yeah, it'll kill your opponent, but are you alive to get there?
Yeah.
It requires such a huge investment.
That's fair.
But I do like Skyskiff a lot. It's just like incidental. It's got a big butt. It can block Skydrakes.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so I guess I'm taking that one.
Agreed.
The Trafficker seems pretty good.
Yeah. I had it in my pre-release pool. Loved them there. Loved them there.
All right. Yeah, I mean, so I guess here's a card. I'm not fighting you with this card, but this is a card we haven't talked about yet. Furious Reprisal. 3 and a red for a sorcery. It deals 2 damage to each of 2 target creatures and or players.
Yeah.
I like this card a lot.
Really?
I mean, it's the definition of a 2-for-1.
Yep.
I think it being sorcery makes it quite a bit worse.
And not being able to go to the dome.
No, you can go to the,
it can.
players.
Oh,
yeah,
it can.
It can.
Okay,
it can
okay,
absolutely go to the dome. So, I mean, I've had this in a few of my decks over the course of the set, and being able to kill if their board is just nothing but X3 plus and maybe 1 X2, you still don't feel all that bad about paying 4 mana to kill to kill to kill that X2 and then just go to the dome for 2, or maybe you make some attacks that forces them to block, and maybe that means that this can take out one of those bigger X3 plus creatures.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Okay,
The card that I will actually play is Architect of the Untamed.
Yes.
Which I really like this card a lot. It's 2 and a green for a 2/3 Elf Artificer Druid. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, get 8 energy. Pay 8 energy. Pay 8. You don't have to sacrifice it, so it sticks around, which I love, because when you do so, you create a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. I talked earlier about Metalwork Colossus and not being super excited about sort of big dorky creatures that can be just chumped. In the right deck, all of a sudden this thing can start pooping out 6/6s.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a 10/10 sitting on the board and 3 6/6s sitting on the board. And it's not tremendously easy to get the energy required to do that, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And boy, do I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Oh,
what I'm bringing
no.
to the table
Damn
is
it.
Dovin
You brought a Planeswalker to the table. I can't beat a Planeswalker.
an interesting card in an archetype I'm not sure exists in the limited format. I
No,
mean,
not
I
really.
guess like if you're in the Cloud Blazer like soft lock deck, Dovin is actually quite incredible because he locks down whatever your opponent's biggest threat is and then generates card advantage and stabilizes you every other turn.
Yep, that's fair.
So, I mean, what's not to like? The other like very good card in this pack, another gold card though.
Ooh, yeah.
Unlicensed Disintegration, all singing, all dancing, removal.
That card's really good.
Yeah, and then it also lightning bolts your opponent.
Yep. So I want to talk about. So I think you win. I mean, you have a Planeswalker, so you win.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
Agreed.
It's not. It's probably actually the least interesting of the 4 Planeswalkers in the set in terms of limited play, but it's still a Planeswalker. You still win. That's just how this game works. I have a Whirler Maker. I don't actually know if this card is good or not.
I've seen people play this at the Pro Tour in Limited, and it never actually really seemed to do much.
So it's a 3-drop artifact, and for 4 and tap it, you can create a 1/1 colorless artifact creature with flying. I think when I first saw this card, I read it as create 2 1/1s, and I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
That card is sweet.
Yeah.
But the fact that it only actually creates 1 seems kind of bad. 7 mana for 1/1 flyer, and then 4 subsequent mana every turn after that if you want another one seems not super great. It seems very slow.
This reminds me much more of a card called the Hive than it does of one called Bitter Blossom.
Yeah, right? So, it's not super impressed with Whirler Maker.
Yeah.
I want to be. I want to like
Yeah,
it.
I want it to be good, but it's
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm sure people will have stories about how Whirler Makers got away from them.
There's the Hive.
Yeah.
Can you read that?
5 and tap creates 1 giant wasp, a 1/1 flying creature. Represent wasps with tokens, making sure to indicate when each wasp is tapped. Wasps can't attack during the turn created. Treat wasps like artifact creatures in every way, except they are removed from the game entirely if they ever leave play. If the hive is destroyed, the wasps must still be killed individually.
Wow, please read the...
But yeah, the Oracle text is just create a 1/1 wasp artifact creature token.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's just literally...
Like, the rest of the text on there is just describing what artifact creatures are, or like what tokens are.
Also, why is a giant wasp holding a 1/1? I guess a tiny wasp shouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A tiny wasp isn't a thing.
Isn't a creature.
Yeah, like, okay, Whirler Maker is strictly better at the hive.
Yes, that's true. It is strictly better than the hive. You have found the card that it is strictly
Unless
better
your
by.
opponent is representing 3 power or 3 CMC with counterbalance up.
Okay. So, you took that one. Let's move on to the next pack, which I feel is... Nope, not the Expedition pack I was looking for. Okay. What the hell was that noise? Okay. You won. You sack of shit.
I am!
Oh my god.
Oh, it's the only good mill deck ever.
Where is... I need a
Get the
sleeve
sleeve.
immediately.
Yeah.
It seems... I want a sleeve right now. I'm
Oh,
scared.
it's
Paul, can
even
you
like
please
the
find us a sleeve
complete-
immediately?
It's even the complete dirtbag invention.
Okay,
Painter's Servant.
Can we talk about how completely obscene this box has been?
Yeah, no kidding. We've gotten a foil Chandra. We've gotten 2 Gear Hulks.
Foil Chandra is actually worth more than that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
I'd
know,
imagine.
but it's still so good. Can you get us
Yeah.
some sleeves, Paul? Like 2, preferably. I should have put Chandra in a sleeve earlier.
Yeah.
I'm a bad person. Okay, let's talk about
Okay,
Painter's Servant.
Painter's Servant is a 2-mana artifact creature. He is a scarecrow. You get a 1/3. That's fine. As Painter's Servant enters the battlefield, choose a color. All cards that aren't on the battlefield, spells, and permanents are the chosen color in addition to their other colors. So this is part, if you're not familiar, this is part of a combo called Painter's Stone.
Yeah,
And you play, is it Grindstone?
I think so.
Grindstone,
I just know
Grindstone
of it.
is an artifact. It has an activated ability. You tap it, or you activate it, and you mill top 2 cards of your somebody's library. If they share a color, you do it again.
Yeah.
So you name any color right? And
Yeah,
you blow
that
your
seems-
opponent's
can
library
I wanna
away.
just. I don't want to.
Oh, God, you're...
It's okay. I'm touching the
Yeah.
edges. God, that's cool. I haven't actually we saw one at Kathleen had one at the pre-release.
Yeah.
But I never actually.
This is my
even
first
looked
time
at
looking
it.
at one close up.
Yeah, that's really, really pretty.
Yeah, no, those are handsome cards.
Okay, thank God. Okay, so you put your Painter Servant in there. I'm gonna put my Chandra in a sleeve like I should have quite some time ago. How much is the Chandra worth versus how much is the Painter Servant worth, Paul?
What I'm looking at here is Painter Servant is about 40, Chandra is about 50.
Sweet. Okay, well...
Okay, well, I mean, like, that was... My reaction was probably a bit out of goose with the actual value, but I was just super excited.
So,
I mean, it's an exciting thing. You open a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And it's... So, we've done 2 of these now where we've opened the box and sort of compared cards and talked about them. You've opened both a expedition and... yeah, wow. All right. So, I guess I fight you with... Pia Nalar. I mean, so let's get back to the set proper. 2 and a red for a legendary legendary creature, human artificer. 2/2 when she enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 Thopter with flying. For 1 and a red, target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and for 1, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. This is a really good card.
Yeah.
This is a very good limited card. 100% pickable. I guess my concern. It's not so much a concern, but this is a really... You're picking Pia, and then you're passing Harness Lightning, which never feels super great. Because it's like, if you take a rare from a pack, and this is the only time where I really, truly pay attention to signaling, is if I take a rare and leave a really good first pickable uncommon, there's no way that, judging by the rest of this pack, which it's okay, there's nothing else here, like... The other pick is clearly this, maybe Tidy Conclusion.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody is ever going to pick Tidy Conclusion over a Harness Lightning. So that's a little sucky. But that being said, Pia is pretty cool. But you win. Stop looking at your pretty card, and let's move on to the next pack.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and also I got an Aether Squall Ancient in this pack.
Oh, right, because of course you have a rare in this pack, too.
Yeah, also a really good
Which
card.
also I think just beats out Pia. So you've essentially won twice. Like, I think that beats out Pia in terms of card quality. I want this one closer to you. What are the chances of 2 inventions in a box?
Well, we've already kind of gotten 2 because the inventions are printed on the same sheet, I've heard, as the foil mythics. Like, they're on the foil mythic rare sheet, right?
Right, yeah.
So, theoretically, a foil Chandra will have about the same rarity as a foil, or as an invention.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, what are you fighting me with? What you got?
Okay, well, my rare is Wildest Dreams.
Okay,
XX green, sorcery, return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand, exile Wildest Dreams, not...
You're not fighting me with that card.
No, I'm not. What I am fighting you with, though, is, excuse me, this aerial responder.
Ooh, yeah.
1 white, 2/3, Flying Vigilance, Lifelink. 3 very, very good abilities.
Yeah, that's
Vampire
fair.
Whitehawk.
So my rare is the Toolcraft Exemplar, which I do like a lot. It's a 1/1 for 1 in white. It's a Dwarf Artificer. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, if you control an artifact, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more artifacts, it also gains First Strike until end of turn. I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
It's not incredible. I mean, the turn you play it, chances are it's just going to be a 1/1, and it's probably going to be a 1/1 for a while.
Yeah, well, it's a 1/1 for most of its life.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I fight you with it. I think actually I like this card a lot, which is the Brazen Scourge.
Yep.
So this is like an answer to your 1 white. This is my one red for a 3/3 with haste. It's a gremlin. I like this card a lot.
Yeah, that being said, I'm still racing you with the aerial responder and winning.
I think you're going to win regardless. I also have, we haven't talked about this card yet, the Fabrication module.
The Fab mod.
Which is actually probably like, it's probably the card I first picked.
This is really easy to get going and really easy to get out of control.
So it's a 3 mana artifact. Whenever you get 1 or more energy, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And for 4 and tap it, you gain an energy.
Yeah.
This card's really good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Especially if you get the land that adds energy when it comes into play, or like any recurable energy effect that just makes it gets away from you very quickly.
That sky whale guy that you had.
Aether Squall Ancient.
The Aether Squall Ancient combined with anything like that can get... The Aether Squall Ancient, aside from being just a big dude, is a ridiculously good just
like we
energy
saw,
battery.
Yeah.
Was it Megan or Maria at the pre-release who just crushed people with the Ancient?
Yeah.
Right, and her Ancient got broken. Like, it wouldn't actually... It couldn't... He... didn't it get... For most of the game, it was... malfunction.
Malfunction,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it didn't matter
Malfunctioning
because
whale.
it was just the...
It was still
generating energy.
still generating energy.
Otherwise, like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Experimental Aviator, who I really like. I'm not sure is terribly powerful, but I like this card, especially
it's
if you're
pretty good.
if you're bouncing it with like Disappearing Act or
What's it
Ether
do
Trade
again?
Winds. It's an 0/3 for 5 mana, 3 blue, Human Artificer, flying. When Experimental Aviator enters the battlefield, create 2/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature.
Yeah,
tokens.
I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Especially if you can get value off it. Like if you've got Wisp Weaver Angels or Ether Trade Winds or Disappearing Acts, you know, you're getting value off this guy, and that feels really nice.
Earlier, we were talking about green creatures with trample, and we completely forgot about Pima
yeah.
Outrider, which is 2 green for a 3/3 with trample, already really good, and it has Fabricate 1. So if you need the servo, then you can get the servo, but otherwise it comes down as a 4/4 trample for 4, which is tremendously good.
Very large in this format.
I'm going to say...
I think you took this one.
I mean, like, going off of rares I won, I think it was probably fairly close going down after that, but maybe maybe we can call that one a tie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about that one. I think that was sort of like the boringest of all the packs so far.
I think your pack with the Pima Outrider is probably stronger in that the deck the Pima Outrider wants to be in is much easier to pull together than the one the Experimental Aviator wants to be in.
That's true. All right. Well, I'll take the win, which means I'll take the first pick, and I'll play down my Ether Storm Rock.
Quite.
2 white for a 3/3 flyer, really good. When it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get 1 energy. Okay. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 energy, and if you do, put +1/+1 counter on it and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. This card is super bonkers. Great first pick.
Wins the game on its own.
Can win the game on its own. This is just like an all-around great rare.
Yep, absolutely.
What do you got?
My rare is Dynavolt Tower, which I love.
Okay. Yeah, Dynavolt Tower is sweet.
You have to work real hard to make this work in limited.
Yep.
I think you want to get 2 lightning bolts off of this before you're feeling terribly good about the investment, but hopefully you're playing other good cards to get that.
Yep.
It's definitely a build around. If I was like at the Pro Tour and trying to be conservative, you would take the Fairgrounds Warden.
Yeah,
right?
It's the good old get in the bag kind of card.
Yeah.
2 white for a 1/3 dwarf soldier. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature target creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield.
Yeah, and so you O-ring something and then you use them to pilot.
The Sky Skiff. Yep,
yeah.
That feels good. What are your thoughts on the Trusty Companion? This isn't a card we haven't seen yet today.
Vigilance creatures, I think, take on an additional valence in this set because they can crew vehicles defensively.
Yep.
Which I think is like not hugely powerful, but it's an interesting thing they can do. I like Vigilance a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's an often undervalued keyword.
What about the fact that it can not attack alone? It has to attack with friends.
That seems fair at this cost.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get, like, we see this effect reasonably often. It's usually in red, though. Right? So what I like... I think this guy will probably chisel in quite frequently.
What I like about this card is that, especially if you have something like the Cultivator's Caravan, which is, it costs 3 to crew, it's really great in situations where if you can attack with something else and get in for 5 or 6 damage and you feel good about it, then you can. But if you're in a situation where attacking with this doesn't really make sense. It's going to trade down. They can double block it or whatever. Now this can just sort of sit off to the side and crew vehicles,
absolutely.
right? And it's not completely useless, and I feel like you're just getting a lot more value out of it.
The 3 power is very relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rest of my pack is pretty unexciting. A bunch of cards we've seen already. So
I'm just excited to see more salivating gremlins.
Yep.
In this set, like I said, it's one of my favorite decks, and I also got a thriving turtle. Hey, it's a relevant 1-drop. They did it.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Thriving Turtle yet. I really like this card.
Yeah.
1 blue for an 0/3. You get 2 energy when it comes in. Whenever it attacks, you can pay 2, +1/+1 counter on it.
This goes into my Minister of Inquiries deck.
Yeah, well, it gums up the ground a lot, and it just becomes so hard to kill because it starts as an 0/3 and then just goes to 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're just like, how do I kill this? Like, it's not representing a whole lot of damage unless you get it really high up, but it's representing an attacker that just becomes really hard to deal with.
Absolutely.
In terms of being able to actually kill it. All right, so I guess I'm taking that one.
Yeah,
the Rock is like probably one of the best.
Absolutely. The Dynavolt Tower is a cool card,
it's a cool
but it's
card,
not necessarily what you want to see in pack 1.
All right, you can't win.
I can't?
No, because I have a foil cat monkey. So deal with it.
I've got
this card is terrible. Never,
one of the
play
most
it.
single beloved cards in this set. Everyone loves this card. Deadlock Trap.
Deadlock Trap is interesting. People play it.
Yeah, no,
it's
I've gotten,
a thing.
Again, I've been ruined by this card before in the Cloud Blazer deck, right? Where it just takes your best creature all the time and locks it down, and you can generate more energy to keep it working. And yeah, it's surprisingly powerful in the correct environment.
Would you like to talk about Madcap Experiment? Or just
not
move
really.
on? Yeah, let's just
not
not
really.
talk about it. It's not a card that you play in Limited.
That being said, I am so in on this plan with Whirler Virtuoso in this pack. 1 blue red for a 2/3 Vidalcan Artificer. When Whirler Virtuoso enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy, pay 3 energy, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Yeah. It doesn't tap. You can do it multiple times per turn. If you are going off with the energy deck, you can quite easily get there with this. And I think this goes in the, actually, ironically, this goes in the blue-green deck where you splash red for this guy.
Cool. I am going to pick, and I think you win. And we've talked about the green deck a lot today, or I've talked about green a lot today. I really like green in the set. Arborback Stomper gets in those decks. It's a 5/4 for 3 green. It's a beast. It has trample. Again, there's so many green creatures with trample. I love it. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life.
Yeah,
it's the Rhino.
Yeah,
No, it's the green card. Why am I
Big
so
Pig.
bad? Yeah. Wait, no. I'm thinking about something else. Thragtusk.
Yeah, it's Thragtusk.
There we go.
Yeah, Big Pig.
We got there.
Interestingly enough, Alistair Howie, one of our resident Highlander players and probably one of the most experienced players around, is cutting Thragtusk from his Highlander deck, like his decade-old Highlander green-black deck, for Arborback Stomper.
Wow.
Because
that's cool.
Yeah, in the meta, Thragtusk dies to Lightning Bolt.
Right.
And then the 3/3 that he gets just becomes blocked by a Wall of Omens type card for the entire game.
That's
right.
interesting.
Like Thragtusk or Thragtusk swings in, trades with an 3x, and then the token is just completely irrelevant. Whereas this comes down, stabilizes you. It has trample, which is very important, and the 4 toughness, also extremely important in a format with Lightning Bolt.
All right, we're getting down here. I think we have a couple more matchups. I think this is, we have 4 more matchups here to go.
Yep.
I guess, wait, who won that? You did, you won that one. I think I like
Deadlock,
the
Virtuoso.
Yeah, forgetting the rare. Definitely, your rare is just significantly better than my rare, so. All right. Wow, we got, okay, this is a
is a good pack.
This is a good pack too, actually.
Do you want to start us off?
I won.
You won. Okay, Looter Scooter.
You got the, okay, there we
Smuggler's
go.
Copter. It is a 2-mana vehicle. You get, when it becomes crewed, it becomes a 3/3 with flying. When Smuggler Copter attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. The or blocks, super important. It doesn't need to get in. It doesn't need to connect. It draws the card on declaring attack or block.
Yep.
So you can get into something.
Yep.
It's all of the abilities on this card are just a little better than they needed to be. It didn't need to be a 3/3. It didn't need to have crew 1.
Yep. It's so good. And push the hell out of this card.
Yeah, it could have been when it deals damage to a player.
Yep. Not just on attacks or block. Yep.
Oh, it's extremely powerful.
It is a reason why it saw an enormous amount of play in
something
standard
like 32 copies in the top 8.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. The card I will fight you with is another mythic. We're doing pretty good here.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the Angel of Invention, which for 3 white, you get a 2/1 Flying Vigilance lifelink, Fabricate 2, and other creatures you control get +1/+1.
Can I just say that I really appreciate the work that Wizards put in this set into making Fabricate usually a pretty non-trivial decision.
Yeah, absolutely. There are times where one is just strictly better than the other.
But there's almost no card where it's universally better.
No, and not only is it, it's so match dependent and game dependent and board state dependent, where one game I'll absolutely 100% get the 2 servos, but another game I will absolutely make this a 4/3 flying with Vigilance and Lifelink. Because good God. That seems really good.
Everyone loves Cloud Blazer.
Is this our first
America loves Cloud Blazer,
Is this
James.
our first Cloud Blazer?
It is.
Wow, that's impressive.
3 white blue, flying. When Cloud Blazer enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just like an incredibly efficient card that does a lot of really good things for you.
Yeah, and then also Decoction Module,
nice,
which I think is also quite powerful. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get energy, 1 energy. 4 and tap, return target creature you control to its owner's hand.
Well, I mean, this is a combo right there.
Yeah.
With your...
Yeah, and then, you bounce it with Ether Trade Winds.
Sure.
Right? Like, Decoction Module is less powerful in a vacuum than the Fabrication Module, but it still has its uses.
I guess the only other card, again, this is a good pack. It has mostly stuff we've talked about. The only card we haven't talked about Long Tusk Cub yet, which is one of the best bears that has been printed in recent memory for me. It's a 2/2 for 1 and a green and a cat. Again, it's a green card. I love the green decks. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get 2 energy. And at any time, you can pay 2 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Like,
this thing can get so out of hand so quickly.
Yeah, it's unreasonable. Like, we're used to seeing a lot of, like, yesterday when we were playing Innistrad Dark Ascension, we were seeing a lot of the wolves that you can, like, pay 2 mana to give it +4/+4 for a turn.
Right, yeah.
This is kind of taking up that slot in this set, and it's so much better.
Yeah, because those counters
so
last.
much better.
And, like, if you play this on curve and your opponent stumbles for a turn, or God knows, 2 turns, like, if you're able to get in with this thing twice and then just play out stuff like the Tiger or the Hydra or any other, like, or even just the green Puzzle Knot.
Yep.
Like, the green Puzzle Knot gets you 3 energy, sacrifice it for 3 energy. That's 3 +1/+1
Yeah,
counters
you make
on
this
the
a
long
5/5.
Yeah, you can just make this a 5/5. This card is obscene.
Yeah, agreed. It's really good. And then, I've got a Welding Sparks and a Fire Weaver who is not great, but I love. And then there's also Revoke Privileges in this pack.
There's the Wood Weaver's Puzzle Knot right there. You also gain some life.
Yep.
You get 6 energy and 6 life. I think that's my favorite Puzzle Knot.
Actually, mine too.
Hands down, and that's not just because I really like green in this set. I think it's just it's the best. All right, who won that one? Does the Copter win over the Invention? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it does. I feel like
I think it's like this is more generally useful.
Yeah.
But the Angel of Invention is
the Angel of Invention can come down and stabilize you and possibly turn a game around. Where with the Smuggler's Copter, if you get that thing down on 2 and are able to just start bashing in with it, I don't know. Like, by the time I play this, you've already gotten in with that like 3 times, probably 3 or 4 times.
And I've ancestraled off of it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give that one to you.
Yep.
Let's move on.
If you have copters, play copters.
Yeah.
I opened a Russian one.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. getting down here. A couple more packs left. Not a whole lot of cards we haven't talked about yet, although here's one that I'm excited to talk about. Here's the one that I'm excited to talk about. And I guess I think I'm just going to fight you with my rare, but what do you got?
Well, my rare is Skyship Stalker, who is
rare.
the dragon for this set.
Yeah.
Wizards R&D, I think, in their talks, whenever they give talks at like PAX or whatever, say that, you know, every set has to have a dragon, it has to have a big angel. This is the dragon for this set. It is a 3/3 flyer for 2 red, with 3 activated abilities, each for 1 red. One is Skyship Stalker gets +1/+0 until end of turn, fire breathing. The other is Skyship Stalker gains first strike until end of turn, and the third is Skyship Stalker gains haste until end of turn. So
it's really it's pretty
totally
good.
useful. This thing can rule the skies.
So I will fight you with my rare, which is the Marionette Master.
Oh, I love this card so much.
Yeah, so 4 black, Human Artificer, it's a 1/3, Fabricate 3, and whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to the Marionette Master's power.
Which is usually going to be 4,
Yeah.
unless you're playing this in a deck with Syndicate Trafficker, which we opened earlier, where you're making a bunch of servos, but usually what you're doing is you're making this into a 4/6 that just dominates the ground, and you're playing Puzzle Knots.
Yeah.
Right?
I think,
and like you even if you're just like getting rid of Metalworker Puzzle Knots and drawing cards and losing a bit of life, you're still coming out way ahead.
Yep, that's fair. I feel like at this point in the box, which is, to be honest, pretty much near the end, I feel like if this was a Build-A-Box sealed, one of those crazy events where you open an entire booster box and build a 40-card sealed deck, I would probably be heavily leaning towards the black-white Fabricate deck.
I agree.
Especially even just with the cards on my side. Marionette Master, Angel Invention, Aether Stormrock, the Exemplar, the Toolcraft Exemplar, the Trafficker, the Sky Whaler shot's great. The
Eliminate works really well.
We have 2 of those, which is really good.
Yep.
And then all the other cards that we've opened up, like a bunch of remote privileges,
Absolutely.
I feel like it would be really good.
But that would be the Chandra and the 2 Gear Hulks wouldn't go in that deck.
That is true. The Chandra is really good, but the red that we've opened between us...
Dovin Bond, neither.
Yeah, Dovin Bond's not fantastic in limited
you
as
might
it
be able to
stands,
splash for it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just try to play Mardu. Just straight up Mardu. But like the red that we've opened hasn't been actually that deep, like at least in the rare and mythic slot. So I'm not sure.
Another card I'm excited to talk about in this pack is Gearshift Ace. For 1 white, you get a 2/1 Dwarf Pilot with first strike. And whenever Gearshift Ace crews a vehicle, that vehicle gains first strike until end of turn. This is really good, especially if you've got Renegade Freighters or the Dragster.
Yeah, I mean, even the Copter. Like, this card seems really good and goes quite well in our white-black deck.
But any, like, the 6/1 Trample Haste vehicle with this guy driving it is unstoppable.
Yeah. Speaking of our black-white deck, Aetherborn Marauder.
Yep.
3 and a black for a 2/2 with flying lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto the Marauder.
How good does it feel? When do you feel really good about this card? When it's a 4/4?
Yeah, I think if you can make the single 4/4, you're feeling really good. I think if you can make it a 5/5, you're probably just winning the game.
Yeah.
Anything bigger and it's just gravy at that point. Another card we haven't talked about yet is Veteran Motorist, which is a 3/1 for red and white. It's a Dwarf Pilot. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2, Obscene, and when it crews a vehicle, that vehicle gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
The Scry 2 really pushes this card over the top into kind of ridiculous territory.
Yeah.
And that's not something I ever expected to say about Scry, but in the Boros aggro vehicle deck, being able to get 2 lands off the top.
Well, especially like if you're able to play that on curve.
Yeah.
Like if you're able to play a 1-drop into, like imagine if you go like turn 1 Exemplar, just because it's a, it's a 1-drop, so that's great. Into Motorist, Scry 2, and just set up your next 2 draws. Like, feel really, really good about that.
You know, if your opponent stumbles against this, they're dead.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know who wins that one. Is it the
I think it's the Marionette Master who, like, Skyship Stalker is I think, probably the better card in a vacuum. However, in the deck that Marionette Master goes in, it's backbreaking.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So who wins that?
We're giving it to me. We're going to the Master. All right, so we have 2 more packs after this.
These are
so
the penultimate.
Let's take these out.
Okay.
Let's get rid of this box.
Yep.
All right, so
It's Chandra versus Sahili Rai for this one.
Yeah, I haven't actually been paying attention to the points. Oh, damn, I was really excited for a second there. I didn't need to be. All right, so...
oh, God, could you imagine how good it would have been if Wizards had printed one of the ad cards with the invention border?
Oh, yeah. We've got a foil Ether Hub. Sure, whatever.
Okay.
That's not exciting, but it's foil, so I thought I'd show you. I won that last one. Screw it. Beat my Panharmonicon.
Gonti, Lord of Luxury.
Damn it, you beat it. Okay. So,
Well, I mean, like, it really depends, again.
I mean, yeah, Panharmonicon, 4 colorless for an artifact. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So I guess let's take a look, and the top card on my deck right here.
Yep.
So if I play Aviary Mechanic with the Panharmonica in play, it means Aviary, I can speak. Aviary Mechanic triggers twice, which means I get to return 2 permanents that I control to my hand. So that's kind of fun. I don't think it's actually that.
When Panharmonicon doubles Gonti's trigger.
Yeah, that seems really good.
It doubles Thriving Rat's trigger.
I mean, it doubles Fabricates. It doubles
Cogworker's Puzzle Knot.
It doubles Prophetic Prism. You get to draw 2 cards.
You don't like the ceiling or the floor on Panharmonicon for a 4-mana do nothing artifact. It gets away from you pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Panharmonicon, deceptively powerful.
We haven't seen this card yet today, which is Essence Extraction. 1 black. It deals 3 damage to target creature, and you gain 3 life. It's instant.
Yep.
It's black. It's super solid black removal. To be honest, you know what? I think after we're done open these packs, I want to put together that black-white deck and just see what it looks like. We'll put up the deck lists in the description below. I'm not going to include that in the actual video, but I feel like it could be really good, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, this pack is it's got some stuff. It's not exciting. No cards that we haven't seen or talked
I'm putting
about.
the person to my left on a 4th or 5th Renegade Freighter.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right.
Foil Aether Hub you got there.
Yeah. Ether Hub. Yeah. Is that the one you want, or would you rather trade?
Who won that one?
It can did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Gonti
Gonti is just really good.
Gonti's good.
Sorry, we didn't
efficient.
actually talk about Gonti at all. He is a 2/3 Aetherborn Rogue for 2 black. Sorry, they are a legendary creature with Death Touch. That's pretty decent. 2/3 Death Touch. When Gonti, Lord of Luxury, enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, exile one of them face down, then put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it.
Yeah, that card's. I really like this card, and I think Panharmonicon is fun. It's goofy. It can definitely get away from you, and it can do some really great things. But Gonti just comes down and actually affects the board in a meaningful way immediately, and it could get you a really good card. It could get you crap, but it's going to get you something.
Yeah, it's going to get you the best card out of your opponent's top 4.
Yeah, which is not the worst.
Yeah,
All right,
and
so
they don't know what it is either.
Last pack.
Okay.
Are you going
Angel
to take
of Invention or Dovanban?
Which one would you like? I'm giving it to you.
I opened Dovanban. You opened Angel of Invention. Let's stick with that.
Let's stay with them. Okay. Okay. Well, this is a card that has gotten out of control in quite a few. It's been a bit of a interesting topic on Twitter the last couple days.
Has it?
How big can you get it?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I know you won, but Electrostatic Pummeler is a 3-mana 1/1 construct. When it enters a battlefield, you get 3 energy. Pay 3 energy, and it gets plus X until end of turn, where X is equal to its power. I think so. Luis was number 1 to do something crazy with this, and he got it up to like 160 or something like that. Then Kenji got this thing up to like 190 or something like that. Yesterday, I believe it was Frank who tweeted that he got this thing up to 4 million.
Well, like once you get it up to a certain size, doubling, like, well, it's exponential.
Yeah,
growth,
exactly.
right?
Like it requires you, like if you want to get it up to 4 million, you need a lot of energy. But if you have ways of producing that energy, this thing gets so big.
Yeah, like you larger than life this, and that gets you off to a real good start.
Oh yeah, especially if you do something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, with one larger than life is plus
4/4.
4/4.
So this is a 5/5.
Yeah, so
then,
you would take the logarithm of 5 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like log base 2, 5 million, and
Yep.
see how much energy you actually needed to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in this format, you can generate like 20 energy.
Oh, easily.
If you're on the correct deck.
You can do more than that.
Right,
if you
like
need to.
that's not difficult to do.
All right, what you fighting?
I open Lathnu Hellion.
Okay.
Which is a 4/4 for 2 red. It is a Hellion. It has haste. When Lathnu Hellion enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy.
Yep.
At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Lathnu Hellion unless you pay 2 energy. So I've been aided by this guy before, and then it dies and I stabilize.
Yeah, exactly. I don't actually think this card is that good.
No,
it's if they don't have the energy to support it, then you don't play it. And if you do, it's still just a 4/4. Like
it doesn't have trample.
No, it's not anything amazing. So
This thing comes down and it probably trades with a Pima Outrider.
okay, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's really the kind of tier you're
or a
on
tiger,
here.
or yeah, absolutely. It could easily.
It's not exciting.
I don't think this is a card we've talked about today, which is a Speedway Fanatic.
Yeah.
1 and a red for a 2/1 human pilot. It has haste. When it crews a vehicle, you give that vehicle haste. I like this card a lot. This feels really good if you play it, turn 3, or you play this down on turn 2, you get in for 2, and then you play this, you play any vehicle of any sort, crew it up, especially a flying vehicle like, even if you just play Smuggler's Copter on 3,
Yeah.
you're feeling pretty good about being able to attack in for, 3 in the air and draw a card. So.
We already talked about Ether Hub because you opened a foil one. Just got another Thriving Rhino, got a Fairgrounds Warden. It's a decent pack.
Okay.
Nothing super exciting, really. I think you take this one with the Electrostatic Pummeler.
All right.
Who, if it's not, maybe not as good, 99% of the time as Lathnu Hellion, is way more exciting and fun to build around.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so that is all the packs. I assume, Paul, you were keeping track. I hope so. I don't know.
I was, but it's clear that I messed up somewhere because I currently have, if you won that one,
Yep.
then I have you with 9 points and Cam with 10 points, which is too many points.
That is too many
Yeah,
points.
that's one too many points.
That's one too many points.
So I messed up somewhere.
So how many wins did I have, you said?
9. And Cam had 10.
Okay.
So I must have given somebody 2 points at some point.
Or,
Yeah, because we should have 18 points total.
Right, yeah.
That's fine. We'll just say everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why everyone's a winner, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just... The top 4 most valuable cards in this set are Torrential Gear Hulk, Chandra, Smuggler's Copter, Veritas Gear Hulk.
And we opened
You
all
opened-
of those.
And a Painter's Servant.
And
Yeah.
the Painter Servant.
And the Chandra
Chandra's
is foil.
And the Chandra is foil. I was just doing a quick calculation. Just going by the cards that I know are $5 or more
Yep.
in Canadian, because I bought this.
Are you
From
going
a Canadian store.
Are you going off of Canadian prices though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going off a Canadian price list from a store called Wizard's Tower,
Okay.
which I think is in Toronto or somewhere.
Sure.
Then that is so far. So just going with the $5 or more cards: Chandra, Painter Servant, the 2 Gear Hulks, Dovin Bond, Bluing Marsh, Concealed Courtyard, Smuggler's Copter, Panharmonicon,
Yeah.
and Aether, and the foil Aether Hub.
Yeah, I expected the foil Aether Hub to actually be quite valuable.
It's 13
Wow.
Canadian again.
Yeah.
We're looking at about $254.
Nice.
Yeah.
for
So we
like
doubled our
$140
Yeah, so
Yeah, box.
so a
box. That's with tax on the box.
and that's Canadian, right? So
Yeah.
a box. So
Box is about 95.
So I
American.
guess let's compare this to the professor. He does an unboxing video. He actually generally does 2, I believe, maybe even 3 unboxing videos throughout the course of a set's life. He does one basically right when it comes out. He does one after the Pro Tour, and then he has in the past, I believe, done one later on in the lifespan. And his deal is he opens a box, anything that he can sell for more than $2, I think.
So also this is I'm looking at sell prices here, not buy prices.
So he looks at TCG mid. Anything that he can, and he pays about $100 for the box because that's about how much you pay for a box in America.
Right.
Which is about equal. Like you hear $140 Canadian, that's about $100. It's a little more than $100 American. So he says he opens a box, and if he can make his money back on selling the cards, he will buy another box.
Right.
And he keeps doing that. We easily have done that.
Yes.
So we easily have beaten. I mean, I think we've easily beaten it with.
If you took all the cards in here, you could definitely buy 2 boxes.
Yeah.
We could easily turn around and turn this into 2 boxes. But I'll tell you what we're going to do with these cards. Because we're not going to turn around and sell them to buy more boxes to open on camera. That seems like a waste. What we're going to do is coming up this Saturday, November 12th, Desert Bus for Hope starts. And if you don't know what Desert Bus for Hope is, I'm not going to get into it on this podcast. Go over to desertbus.org. I'm going to guess most of you know what it is. I will tell you that go learn what it is and know that the amount of Magic-related giveaways and auctions that we have coming up over the course of the next week is starting on Saturday is ridiculous, and you're definitely going to want to check it out. But what Cam and I are going to do with these cards is we're going to take our pile of all the good stuff, and I'm going to take this to my driving shift. And at some point during my run, which is starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday till 10 p.m., I'm going to sweeten one of our giveaways or live auctions or whatever by just throwing these cards in. And that, for me, includes the foil Ether Hub, the Panharmonicon, the Angel of Invention, a foil Cat Monkey. I don't really know why you'd want it, but there it is. There's a Blooming Marsh, there's a Torrential Gear Hulk, there's a foil Forest, but most importantly, for me at least, there is the foil Chandra Torch of Defiance. Cam, on the other hand, has some other really good cards. Cam, what kind of cards can we expect to see sweetened?
Well,
what pig will you be sweetening with, or what cards will you be sweetening the pig with?
we have the Smuggler's Copter.
Yep.
We have Dovin Bane.
Yep.
We have a Concealed Courtyard. We have the Verdurous Gear Hulk. A Fleet Wheel Cruiser, which I'm given to understand is a thing in Vintage now, because it kills Jace.
Okay.
Consulate Skygate in foil.
Yay!
Oh, it blocks Smuggler's Copter.
That's true.
We have a Depala, for those of you who are into EDH. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. But then
significantly,
you get the Painter Servant.
The Painter Servant.
Which is really exciting. So, Cameron, when is your shift again?
Wednesday overnight.
Yeah, so Wednesday starting at 10 p.m., going till 10 a.m. on the Thursday. That might be a trickier one for maybe you North American viewers. Maybe you'll be sleeping, but
you better stay up with
me. Maybe our European. That's good. We actually, because we have both shifts covered here.
Exactly.
Mine is during the day. Yours is overnight, so that works out really well. So yeah, look forward to that. Again, desertbus.org for all of that information. It's coming up this Saturday. And you could get a foil failed inspection, which is just nothing but value.
Yeah, and this fortuitous find.
That was fun. I think.
that was sweet.
I think that was a good way to sit here and crack a box. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you once again to cardkingdom.com, sponsor of this lovely podcast, and all you guys over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, who sponsor us as well. We really appreciate it. We will be on a bit of a hiatus for the next, I believe, 2 weeks due to Desert Bus. So we will be back later this month with a brand new episode of Tap Tap Concede in a couple weeks. So stick around. Make sure that you are following us on Twitter at LRRMTG for all your magic-y fun needs, or at LoadingReadyRun for all of everything that we do. And then once again, Desert Bus for Hope coming up this Saturday, November 12th at 10 a.m. at twitch.tv/DesertBus. Please be there. Please watch. Please donate and possibly win awesome magic stuff. And that's going to do it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.